Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Aramburu, and I'm the founder and CEO of Rechar. So we're a for-profit social enterprise that's working to solve three of the greatest challenges facing humanity in this century: food, energy, and climate. And these are huge challenges, but we found that they are actually incredibly interconnected. So I'm going to show you a picture here, two pictures actually. This is Evelyn. She's a farmer in Western Kenya, and she has a family of three. She's what we call a smallholder or subsistence. So it's about 1 acre of land, 1 to 2 acres. She grows maize, beans, and a little bit of sugarcane. And farming is an income-generating activity. So she uses the food to feed her family, sells the surplus on the market. And Evelyn lives of about $4 to $5 a day. So she uses that to feed her family, to pay the bills, to pay school fees, everything. It's very challenging for her. She faces great challenges from infertile soil. Kenya has some of the thinnest soil in the world. She also can't really afford fertilizer. And finally, she has to cut down trees to make energy, to cook her meals. This is Dan Barber, CEO and head chef at Blue Hill Farms in New York. So it's one of the top restaurants in New York City, very posh local food restaurant. You're probably wondering, what, if anything, does this guy have in common with Evelyn from Kenya? Well, the answer is that both of these people are using our product, Biochar, to grow more food and fight climate change. So Biochar is a charcoal that's made from agricultural waste, crop waste, even human waste. It's produced at very high temperatures, around 500 degrees centigrade. And Biochar is the world's only carbon-negative soil amendment. So this technology is actually very ancient. It was developed about 3,000 years ago by farmers in the Amazon basin. They found that by adding charcoal to their soil, they could grow more food. These are very smart farmers because their work still has impacts today. So we can make biochar, as I said, from a variety of different waste feedstocks. Sugarcane waste is one of the most abundant in Kenya. We get about 7 to 8 tons of this per acre, and right now there's no other use for it. Most farmers just burn it directly in the field right after harvest. We can also make it even from human waste. So human feces we can actually convert into this biochar product. So the biochar comes out as a powdered charcoal, and we can actually compress it into fuel briquettes. These fuel briquettes function just as well as firewood or wood charcoal, but they require no deforestation. So here you see the briquettes inside of a Jiko stove. It's one of the most common stoves in Kenya. People can buy them very cheaply. And with biochar, they can actually cook their meals without cutting down trees. But that's not really the killer app for biochar. If we take the char, the powdered charcoal, and add it to the soil, it's like putting a sponge into our soil. So it improves the soil's ability to hold on to nutrients, to hold on to water, and also to hold on to beneficial microorganisms. This means that we can grow more food in less space with fewer inputs. So these are some vertical sack gardens with biochar. These are actually being grown and used in Kenya's largest slum called Kibera. So people can grow their kale, their food, in a very small area without fertilizer, with minimal water, using biochar. When we use biochar in the field, the results are equally robust. So this is a project in Western Kenya using biochar on maize. This project is actually being studied right now by Cornell University. And these folks are from my team. They're about as tall as I am, and you can see that the maize kind of towers above them. That's very unusual in Kenya. People are always very impressed by this maize. Biochar also has really exciting impacts on the climate side. So every kilo of charcoal that we put in the ground, that's actually about 3 kilos of CO2 that we are sequestering. So we're keeping it in the ground, we're keeping it from getting back into the atmosphere. Because remember, the feedstock we use, it's waste. Normally it's just burned or allowed to rot. And so a group of scientists published a paper in Nature a couple of years ago that actually quantified how much carbon we can potentially sequester as biochar. They found there's potential to offset about 12% of our annual CO2 emissions each year as biochar. And we also have had great partnership with scientists ourselves. So we had 2 PhD students from Berkeley and Oxford come out, they've been there for about a year, to our site in Western Kenya and study what we're doing. And they've talked to about 350 farmers using biochar. And what they found is really exciting. They found there's an average 40% increase in crop yield for farmers using this product. And there was also a 25% increase in overall farm profitability. So that's profitability from increased yield that people can sell, also increased savings. So very exciting stuff. They'll be publishing that in the next couple months. So this is the device that we actually use to make biochar. It's called a biochar kiln, and it's made from recycled oil drums that we get surplus in Kenya as well as in the US. And these cost about $15 US to produce. We modify the barrel, and then we put our proprietary lid and chimney on top. And what happens inside the kiln is a process called pyrolysis. It's a chemical process where waste is burned with very low oxygen. So instead of just burning up into ashes, we actually get a hard, pure carbon charcoal out at the end. We've taken a really unique approach to production and distribution. Initially, we were building our kilns in Nairobi at a shop, shipping them out to all corners of Kenya, and it was very expensive. Kenya has very poor roads. So we decided, why don't we just take the factory where the demand is? So we took an old 20-foot shipping container, turned it into our proprietary shop in a box, and this has become our mobile production factory. So this is a fully off-grid, self-contained metal shop. It can produce around 600 of our kilns each month, and we can send these pretty much anywhere in the world. So right now we have one in Western Kenya, and then we have one in Oakland that services the US market. And what's cool about this setup, we found it's very flexible. So the core is this thing here called a CNC plasma cutter. It's a computer-controlled cutting device. It allows us to produce our technology, but also allows us to rapidly design and prototype other metal technologies. So we've been working on other tools, other devices that we can rapidly roll out in the field. We've also found an unintended consequence of bringing the factory to where you're working is you create a lot of jobs. So we've created around 20 to 25 jobs for local Kenyans in everything from fabrication, distribution, sales, production, and these are high-tech jobs that they really did not have before. And that's become a huge commitment of ours, job creation, because unemployment is incredibly high in Western Kenya right now. Now, as I said, we have an operation in Oakland as well. So we're not just focused on the developing world. We believe biochar has global applications. So in March, we launched a Kickstarter campaign to sell a consumer-grade biochar product. You know, the gardening industry here in the US is around $28 billion, lawn and garden products. And it's mostly based on chemicals, chemical fertilizers, soils containing chemicals. And so we launched this Kickstarter project, and we sold about $6,500 worth of biochar to gardeners, farmers, and we sold it at really robust margins. And so that got us thinking, is there a place for biochar in the consumer gardening industry? So now we are working with a distributor in California to get this product into about 3,000 independent gardening stores. We want this to be a product on every aisle, on every gardening store, a household name, biochar. It can provide gardeners the same yield improvement benefits as the farmers in Kenya, and it's the only product that's actually carbon negative. So to date, we've gotten about $500,000 in funding through grants. We've been funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Echoing Green, the Dune Foundation in the Netherlands, and the Hitachi Foundation. And these grants have been crucial to developing the technology, demonstrating the demand, and also commercializing. It's really gotten us very far, but we want to scale up now. So we want to build 10 additional shops in East Africa. We also want to get our product onto store shelves here in the US. So we are now at a crucial scale-up point. Our team is very unique. My background is soil science and ecology. I studied up at Princeton, and I worked down at the Smithsonian in Panama as a soil scientist. That's where I first learned about biochar. Our CTO, he's a UPenn grad, expert in making things, building things, a real technologist. He designed our shop, he designed our kiln. And then our COO and Kenya director, he's actually a microfinance professional. So he has experience on the BOP business side. How do you actually sell products to customers living on a couple dollars a day? We've had some great major media coverage and awards that have really helped to drive interest to what we're doing, also drive demand towards the US products. But as I said, we're at a scale-up point, and we have some critical needs to grow the business. We're looking to raise $1.5 million in a Series A fundraising from equity investors. That gets us to about 10 hubs out there, 10 of these shop-in-a-boxes. So that covers our capital expenses, also crucial hires, as well as marketing support. To date, we really haven't invested much in marketing. It's been all word of mouth and press, that sort of thing. We're also looking for sustainable retail partners, big box stores, brands that want to carry our products, that want to show their customers their commitment to sustainability and carbon negativity. Places like Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot. Capacity building support. As I mentioned, job creation is very important to us. It's challenging to hire locally in Western Kenya. People aren't used to jobs like this, sales, production. It's new, and it takes time to train people. On average, training a salesperson can take up to a month for us. And finally, we're looking for NGO and country partners who want to help us expand the developing world business. So farming cooperatives, NGOs who want to host a project and are interested in this type of technology. So I hope I've given you a good overview of what we're doing. We believe that carbon negativity is the answer, and it's the solution. And I look forward to your questions. Thank you.